Okay, I think I got it working. I did put a little safety measure in the live chat this time around. I put in slow mode, so now you have to wait 10 seconds before you send a message. That's to just, put a curb on anybody who might be trying to spam the chat with stuff. So, smudge on my glasses, hold on. Okay, there we go. So, hello and welcome to the stream. I am Kelsey D. Crawford. I make comics, including The Legend of Jamie Roberts. Today, I'm going to be drawing an illustration for The Legend of Jamie Roberts, Volume 2. Specifically, I'm doing the back cover art because the front cover art's already, done. There's one thing I might make a tweak to, but it's done. It's done. The back cover is what I'm working on today. Everything else about the book is already finished, but we are getting it crowdfunded on Crowdfundr right now, which is, you can find out more about the crowdfunding campaign at crowdfundr.com/TLOJR-Volume 2 or the QR code in the corner of the screen there. There's also a link down in the description. I see that Susu has joined us. Thank you for joining, Susu. So let's just get right into inking this thing. I already did the pencils, so we're just inking it in, and then we're going to do shades and color flats. There are some things about this page that I'm actually saving for the for working in Affinity Publisher. Affinity Publisher is my program of choice when it comes to formatting books and PDFs and ebooks. A, because it's cheaper. It's cheaper than a Adobe Creative Suite subscription. And B, it's pretty comparable as far as program selection goes. Now, my comics colleague Ben will be utterly annoyed that Affinity Publisher does not have a booklet feature. I'm pretty sure that it does have a booklet feature. I just haven't found it yet. As soon as I find it, though, I'll definitely do a tutorial on how to set up booklets in Adobe Publisher. That way, other people can know and they will not be so confuzzled. Hello, Popcorn Tastes Good. Happy to see you in the comment section as well. To answer the question, how was my day? Day is good so far. No complaints. Let's see. Yeah, I think I will ink from foreground to background. So I will ink these grown over stepping stones first, then I'll ink in Thomas and Daniel because Jamie's on the cover, the front cover, of course. This is the back cover, but I'm gonna ink in this stuff first, then Thomas and Daniel, and then the background stuff. Then we'll get to color flats. By the way, if you haven't seen it, I've also been doing a lot of stuff with the Columbus Cartoon Coalition and their YouTube channel lately. You can find out more about that by going to the Columbus Cartoon Coalition YouTube page. I'm pretty sure there's a link for it down in the description. Or you can go to youtube.com/@Columbus Cartoon Coalition to find out more. Recently, and by recently I mean 2 days ago as of this recording, I was part of their live stream about tips for speeding up your comics making process. Learned a lot from my fellow co-hosts. Namely that I am one of those people that does the art underneath of the speech balloons, apparently. Look, I get why you would not want to do, I get why you would not want to draw the art underneath of a speech balloon, but what if you need to move the speech balloon? I've had it happen way too often in making comics that I will make a page and then I'll be like, I speech balloon being over on this side of the panel instead of that side. And moving it will, you know, upset the balance of the art if I don't make anything on the layer underneath. So it just makes more sense to me to just draw it all. That said, because this art that I'm drawing is the back cover art for The Legend of Jamie Roberts, Volume 2, there's back matter that I'm trying to take into account with designing this page. For example, one second, let me zoom out for a little bit. So, for example, I'm trying to take into account that the barcode for the book needs to go on the cover somewhere. So I'm leaving, like, I am leaving this square here empty to account for the barcode. And I'm trying to leave this kind of general area open as well for any business logos that need to go in there. This sky area here is going to be left blank because the back matter text with the summary of the book needs to go somewhere, and I'm going to put it there. And I also left a square up here-ish for content warning purposes. Because I put a content warning on the back of the first volume, and I'm going to be doing that again for the second volume. Because there's a lot of butts. There is a lot of butts in Jamie Roberts Volume 2. I am not sorry about that. Hi, Sydney! Happy to see you in the chat as well. Also, feel free to check out crowdfundr.com/TLOJR-Volume 2. Link in the corner and in the description below. If only because I posted an update today. And today's update features some art that I made for one of the sticker rewards that we unlocked as a stretch goal. I promised the backers steamy ranky pictures, and I feel like I have delivered on the steamy ranky pictures. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. You'll have to check out the update for more info. I'm not sorry. What can I say? I like drawing my beef cakes. I like my cakes with beef. You know what? Somebody shout out, because I know that there are programs out there that exist to like take segments off of like YouTube streams or whatever and make them into like short little TikTok snippets. I feel like there are going to be some like gold snippets out of this particular stream. That would make great little like TikTok additions or YouTube shorts. I'm getting into YouTube shorts because I've noticed that my YouTube shorts have more traction than my Instagram posts, which is really saying something. Get some grassy patches here. Again, trying to leave this area blank for barcode purposes. Okay, so that's the foreground. Foreground's looking pretty great. Love it. Now we get to ink in Thomas and Daniel. Oh, these two boys. I love these boys so much. Fun fact about Thomas's eyes. They are two different colors. And the reason that they are two different colors is because way back when I had a DeviantArt page and I was posting concept art for The Legend of Jamie Roberts, before officially making the webcomic, I was drawing up the character art and being like, hey, I have a comic idea in development. And there were some people who were like, hey, I want to draw this character. What color are his eyes? And I was like, because at the time I was torn between two different eye colors. And I was like, well, which one would he have? Which one would he have? And then I decided that he would just have both. So I made one eye brown and the other eye blue. And it turns out that is a thing that people can have. It's called heterochromia. Usually it's something that you see more in, like, main character syndrome, but Thomas is he's one of the main characters. He's definitely Jamie's best friend, but I hesitate to say that he is the main character because the story is called The Legend of Jamie Roberts. I certainly hope that, you know, in like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit world, I would certainly hope that Jamie Roberts does not let this like level of fame get to their head, but we'll see. If I had to pick voice actors for who would play what roles, I don't really know any actors that I would feel comfortable having Thomas and Daniel be voiced by. Also, my personal preference would be to have me voice Jamie Roberts, but I know that that's like wild and out there. If it were ever made into an animated series, if I ever got the chance to, I would love to do the voice of Jamie Roberts themselves. I don't know who I would cast as Thomas or Daniel. If it were up to me, though, I would really like... oh, gosh. I'm trying to place this guy's name. He was Panic Grimtongue in The Unexpectables. He was also Paragus in Dragon Ball Z Abridged. He also did a couple of other voices. I'm trying to place this guy's name. But that guy, I would definitely ask for him to voice both Basho and Ranky for spoiler purposes. But yes, I think he would absolutely kill it as Ranky, if I were to be perfectly honest. But that's just my personal pick. I did something else and you were talking about butts. I mean, that's what happens when you get involved in the Legend of Jamie Roberts. I did not realize how many butts were involved in this comic until I was putting together some promo pictures, and then I was like, oh yeah. Oh, yes! And I also see there are comments in the chat about, I like the page on dinosaurs holding flags. Yes, that is for Mr. Dino Pride keychains and stickers, which will be launching on Crowdfundr tomorrow. Link for that will also be in the description below. And is it madness to have two crowdfunders back to back like this? Yes. It is not the craziest thing that I've ever had in my comics making career. Probably the wildest thing that happened was back in 2021, I want to say it was. That was when The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 1 was on Crowdfundr at the same time as Less Than Secret, a cryptid anthology, which I did a short story for. And at the same time as Never Ending's first Kickstarter campaign, which I had a hand in. There were 3 different Kickstarter campaigns happening at the same time. I never want to do 3 at the same time ever again. If I can help it. Having 2 Kickstarters back to back is a little bit more manageable, gotta say. I am also low-key involved in the crowdfunder for the Columbus Cartoon Coalition. They're funding their anthology project, which they're hoping to get to print in time for a festival at the end of September, beginning of October. I'm pretty sure I have a link for that campaign in the description as well. If it's not there, Sydney, you're in the chat. Feel free to put the link in there for your campaign, and we'll signal boost it. I don't have the ability to highlight comments with this particular streaming software, but at the very least, the chat will be available. I am actually pleasantly surprised at how smoothly this streaming software is running, because usually when I hit the undo button, the software will undo like the last like 2 or 3 steps, not just the last step. And so far it's behaving. I gotta wonder what bizarro world this is. I mean, I'm not complaining. This is not a complaint by any means. I appreciate that this is working as intended. Also, if you're familiar with any of my streams, you may have noticed that I have shaved my head, completely bald. And the reason is because I wanted to. I always wanted to try having a bald head, and fairly recently I was like, you know what, I'm just going to give it a shot. And I really like it. I'm surprised at how much I like it. Previously, I had family members try to deter me from going completely chrome dome because they're like, oh, you know, our family have weird shaped heads. It's going to look weird. But then I shave my head and I'm like, I really like this. So I think I might keep it. I think I might keep it bald for a little while, to be honest. It also means that if I ever have like big ol' bold statement earrings, they'll stand out a lot more. I'm not really an earring person, though. If I wear earrings, they have to be clip-ons. I think I might be allergic to certain types of metal. Because I had my ears pierced once when I was like 12, and they kept getting infected. Granted, my ears got pierced at a piercing pagoda in a small middle of nowhere town, so probably the piercing gun itself was gross. So if I ever wanted to get my ears pierced again, I'm more than likely gonna go to like a proper tattoo shop. I actually have the contact information for a tattoo place because I am looking to get a tattoo done. I gotta wait for a particular paycheck to clear, but I am hoping to get a tattoo. Something that I told myself I would do. I'm just gonna flip the canvas. That'll make drawing the eyebrow a little easier. There we are. One thing that I told myself I would do is once The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 1 ever got published, I would get myself a tattoo of the Captain O'Malley pirate gang symbol on my arm. Because the main trio of the comic have that gang tattoo. And I'm like, I think that would be really cool. And I really want that on my person. Especially since I already have a tattoo. I have a 4-leaf clover on my shoulder. Actually, on the same arm as the arm that I want to get this tattoo. I'm trying not to make this too detailed because I am zoomed in a lot. There we go. Okay. But I did find a tattoo place that's within riding distance of my bike, which is awesome. Or in a pinch, I can take the bus. City bus is actually surprisingly nice up here. Took a ride on the city bus for the first time yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. I had to pick up some stuff in downtown Toledo, and it was surprisingly nice. No complaints. Oh, just catching up on the live chat. Yeah, it would help if there are, people on staff at the tattoo parlor or the place where you get your piercings done, if they know a thing or two about the metals that they're working with. Again, when I got my ears pierced at 12 years old, it was at a piercing pagoda, which is like, it's where a lot of 12-year-olds get their ears pierced, if it's not Claire's. But again, because it was at a public mall in the middle of nowhere, and it was done on 12-year-old ears, the earlobes kept getting infected where the piercings were, and I got real sick of it, so I just let the piercings grow over and have not had my ears pierced since then. I've considered getting them re-pierced, but I do want to take some allergy tests and see if I am actually allergic to certain metals before I do anything. Oh, that's a tangent. I'm going to fix that. Hold on. That's better. Okay. There were two lines that were touching each other from the arrow feathers and Thomas's shoulder, and I was not liking that, so I fixed it. There we go. That's another tangent. I gotta fix that. So, I did see Susu's comment about overcoming an art block, which, I don't know if they have this in your native language, but maybe they do. There is a book called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I've been working through that book for the last 6 weeks. I am now on week 7. If I can describe this book, it is a 12-step program for artists. So the thing about this book is that going through the tasks and the exercises helped me uncover blocks that I didn't know that I had, and not just with art. Like, there were some financial blocks that the exercises made me realize, and I'm like, oh, that's been unaddressed, and now I'm addressing it. It's been a game changer for me to go through that book. Again, it's The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. If you have ever heard of the concept of writing morning pages, that concept comes from this book. However, I feel like a lot of people who bring up the idea of morning pages bring it up outside of the context of The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Because the purpose of writing the morning pages is, it's more than just a brain dump. One of the big things that you're encouraged to do throughout The Artist's Way is to rethink your connection to whatever higher power it is that you ascribe to. It can be any kind of higher power. This is a non-denominational thing. I know that sounds hippy-dippy woo-woo, and there are some things about it that do seem hippy-dippy woo-woo, but it is worth going through the exercises, so I still encourage the book because of that. Oh, wait. That's background stuff. That's actually going to get drawn with a thinner pen. So I'll finish up the foreground stuff. Cool. Okay. These backgrounds, the cliff edges that are back there, are actually going to be drawn with a, that was not the thing that I wanted to edit. Pen tool. Brush size 10. I want to try to keep it consistent with the brush sizes that I used for the front cover, just to keep it consistent from front to back. There we go, that's better. I mean, if you draw while you're angry, I'm glad that you have that outlet for your rage. I don't tend to draw when I'm angry. If I'm angry, I find other sources for my I find other outlets for my anger, because drawing brings me so much joy. And that was one of the things that I uncovered as an art block, was I like making things out of joy, and I really should make things out of joy rather than... And by joy, I mean, because like anger is a very strong emotion. Honestly, if I get angry or I have a bunch of energy, my apartment complex has a pool. I go for a swim. Because I need to burn off that energy in a healthy way. Granted, I don't get angry too often anymore. Are there things that annoy me that could drive me to anger? Yes, but a lot of that is stuff outside of my control. So I try not to focus on that too much. I try to keep it to the things that are within my control. I'm actually going to delete this line here. Here we go. Okay. I feel like for folks who know me pretty well, because they know how obsessed I am with Dragon Ball Z, they're probably not too surprised that I draw desert scenes, and they might be thinking, oh, that's just, you know, Kelsey's homage to Dragon Ball Z. It really isn't. The reason I draw desert scenes is because for The Legend of Jamie Roberts in particular, I draw desert scenes because I was very inspired by my time in Navajo Nation back in 2011. And I took a lot of reference photos while I was in Navajo Nation. While I'm at it, for volume 2, I am going to make a thank you page, and I am going to credit Navajo Nation because I forgot to do that for volume 1, and there were some Navajo words that were thrown into volume 1, and I feel really bad that I did not give them proper credit for that first book, so I'm going to give them credit in volume 2. Oh, messed up that line. Let's fix that. Here we go. Okay, that's the background. The background is done. I'm pretty sure the inks are finished. Yes, they are finished. We're gonna save our progress, kids. Okay, I'm gonna take a second. Okay. If you have any questions for me about the making of The Legend of Jamie Roberts, or how I make comic pages, how I write the story, or anything like that, feel free to ask that in the chat as well. Or even if you have any questions about running a crowdfunding campaign, I've done like 16 or 17 crowdfunding campaigns just for my own stuff. That's not including projects that I've been included on as a collaborator or as like a co-manager. So been doing a lot of crowdfunding campaigns is what I'm saying. They work. I have no complaints because they work. Okay, so we're going to... Actually, we're going to pull up the color flats for this one, methinks. But for the purposes of this, I do need to pull up the front cover art. Because I need to turn off some layers. Okay, this is the cover art, the front cover for The Legend of Jamie Roberts, Volume 1. I'm thinking about making a couple of tweaks to it just to add a little more oomph to the lighting, but I do really like this and I like how it's framed. We do need to turn off some layers though. We're going to start with our shades. We're going to start with our shades. Yes, okay. Cool. I'm actually going to save this as a copy. I'm going to do this for shade reference, and then we're going to turn this layer off and this layer on. And that's our color reference. Setting that up ahead of time, because I can go up here in the right corner. It's probably blocked off by the QR code, and I am sorry. But I have a subview window in the upper right corner, and I'm going to bring up the shade reference. Boop, there we go. And I'm going to leave that in the upper right so that I know where the lighting is coming from and all that good stuff. Okay. Oh, this needs to be set at a 40% opacity because the front cover art was set at 40%. We're going to turn the corner marks off. Okay. And because this is such a large swath, we're just going to use the marquee tool to do this part. And we're going to refer to the whole editing layer so that we can get all of that. Switching the paint bucket back to refer other layers, and boom. Hello, Bumble Jelly Bottom. That is a great username. Oh, answering a question. Do you have ideas of doing other comics that could be good for you in the future? Well, hilariously, I was working on one comic called Vanita and the Demon King. I had to put it on hiatus, though. I put it on hiatus because there came a section where I realized, oh, the original script for this particular section that's coming up next is based on an old draft that I'm not working with anymore. I need to rewrite this. So I am in the process of rewriting certain chunks of Vanita and the Demon King, so it is on hiatus while I do those rewrites. In the meantime, there's one short story that I'm actually going to be working on with Cannon Wright Productions. I just got the notification that the short story pitch that I sent to them got accepted, so I will be working on the script for that soon. And working on the script for that, I'm going to record a vlog of the process. And hopefully, as I work on it, hopefully the vlog won't drive me bonkers. We'll see. But really excited to work on that comic script, because it's an idea that's been sitting up in the brain part for the better part of a year. So really excited about that. We're going to leave a slight little border on this tree. Refer only to editing layer. Boom. and then back to refer to multiple layers. Alrighty. As far as other comic ideas go, beyond The Legend of Jamie Roberts or Vanita and the Demon King, that's something I'm actually going to reach out to my current readership about in a survey next week. I don't want to publicize it too much yet because there are so many crowdfunding campaigns happening at the same time, and that takes precedence right now. So it's going to wait until at least one or two campaigns are done, and then I will share the survey link with my readership to ask for their honest feedback about stuff. Because I will say one other thing that The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron has made me realize is that I really want to work with alternative economics, because the current economics as they exist in the United States don't work. They don't work for a lot of reasons. Not to get too anti-capitalist on Maine, but there's just a lot about business as usual that doesn't work. Part of the reason I want to do the survey with my readership is because I really want to drive home that, in a sense, Fantasyville Productions is co-owned with the readers. And I want to work with the readers to give them more of what it is that they want. So to that end, I would really like to get some honest feedback about what it is that how they keep up with the webcomics that they read, how they keep up with the artists that they like, and that sort of thing. There are a few other questions on the survey, but again, I don't want to talk too much about it because there's like multiple crowdfunders happening at the same time. Crowdfunders all the way down. That's why this live stream is named what it is. Because live streams, crowdfunders, all the way down. Because there's The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 2. There, I might be pointing in the wrong direction. It's on the upper part of the screen. There's also links in the doobly-doo. There's The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 2. There's Mr. Dino Pride Keychains launching tomorrow. There's the Columbus Cartoon Coalition happening, like, right now until September 4th. And I'm pretty sure I have the link for that down in the description. There's just a lot happening right now, and I want to wait until some stuff calms down before I try to ask for people's opinions. There's actually been a couple of books that I've been reading lately beyond The Artist's Way that have been encouraging me to look at other systems of economics. Like, one book was actually kind of recommended by Adam Conover, who's leading the writer's strike in Hollywood right now. More information about the writer's strikes and how you can support them are going to be in the description. He did an interview recently with Jenny Odell, who wrote a book called Saving Time. Saving Time is all about reanalyzing our relationship to time, how it's constructed, how it's used, and other ways that we can look at time. And I really appreciate that there's a lot of the book that mentions that, hey, Indigenous people look at time in very different ways from Western conceptions of time. Really appreciate that Jenny Odell is very upfront about that. That is great. Do you watch Hell of a Boss? I do not. Heard of it. Have not seen it. Unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know. I know of it. I have friends who make fan art for it, but I have not seen it yet. I try not to take anybody telling me, oh, your art's very reminiscent of blah, 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 too seriously, because I remember when I first started posting my art online, I got a lot of people looking at my art and saying, it looks very Invader Zim. And I'm like, I fucking hate Invader Zim. How dare you? But I have learned and accepted that it's how they perceive it, and their perceptions are their own and are more than likely shaped by things like Invader Zim. So they will be seeing Invader Zim anywhere that they look because they are influenced by Invader Zim. So am I offended that somebody looks at my art like you and says, oh, this reminds me of Hell of a Boss? Not really. I actually had a patron, way back when I had a Patreon page, ask me to draw for a character from Has Been Hotel. And I was like, sure. And I was like, well, this wasn't that hard to draw. Because it was relatively close to my wheelhouse already. And I know that the makers of Has Been Hotel also worked on Hell of a Boss. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm not that offended if anybody's going to look at my art and be like, this reminds me of Hell of a Boss, but it's not my main artistic influence for The Legend of Jamie Roberts. My main influences for this comic are Mulan. Yes, the Disney movie, but also the original myth. But Mulan. Also Bone by Jeff Smith. Big artistic influence there. I hope that Jeff Smith is doing okay. He recently had something cardiac related happen. I don't know the details. But I hope he's doing okay, and I hope he is recovering well, because that shit is rough. If you'll excuse my language. But yeah, Bone by Jeff Smith was a major artistic influence on, well, a major story influence on The Legend of Jamie Roberts. Because, you know, the premise of people from an outside land stumble upon a fantasy world with dragons and such. It's Bone, but it's also The Legend of Jamie Roberts. I am not ashamed to admit that. I'm not too good to be like, oh no, I'm beyond that. No, I'm gonna fully own that. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, The Legend of Jamie Roberts and Bone have almost the same premise. Oh, hold on. That shadow actually needs to move over more dramatically. So, woo, doo, 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 doo. You know, I try not to judge my teenage self too harshly, but I remember my teenage self was reading Johnny the Homicidal Maniac for a while. And now that I'm older, I'm like, why did I do that? I didn't even like this comic. Why did I read it? There's a lot about Johnny the Homicidal Maniac that is very... juvenile, for lack of a better word. It's just very juvenile, yeah. Honestly, Hell of a Boss, to my understanding, tackles things in a more unique but also mature way. Again, still have not seen Hell of a Boss, but I've seen some commentary about it, so... particularly James Somerton on YouTube did a video all about Hell of a Boss. Highly recommend that you check out James Somerton, by the way, especially if you're looking for, like, queer commentary on things, on media. He did an entire video about the queerness of Nintendo, and I'm like, oh, yes. Yes, please. Are we going to talk about the Gyarados at last? And there is some discussion of that. So yay for that. Oh, what do I think of the art style of Hell of a Boss? I think that was the actual question. I like it. I think it's unique. It's definitely a look that you gotta be really well trained on animation and cartooning to be able to replicate it well. I have a friend of mine who did fan art for it, and I'm like, this looks like the concept art for the animated series Hell of a Boss. Like, this is really good. If you want to look her up, she is on Instagram at Chloe Rose Art. She does a lot of fan art. Because that's kind of her thing. She does have original stuff, but she's mostly a fan artist at the moment. In fairness, she also has a lot going on in her life. Like, she's an assistant professor and stuff, so... You know, I don't blame her for wanting to, you know, draw some saucy promare stuff at the end of the day. Heck, I'm not going to judge that because I recently did some fan art of Hunter x Hunter and Dragon Ball. I participated in a Hunter x Hunter zine, so I can't really judge. Also, yes, I did participate in a Hunter x Hunter zine. The zine was digital. Pretty sure it was all digital. We didn't have a print version, but we were tasked with redrawing the cover arts for the Shonen Jump volumes of Hunter x Hunter brought stateside. We were tasked with redrawing the art for that in our own styles, and I think I did the cover for volume 32. It involved Chairman Netero and a lot of flames. That was a digital art creative challenge, and challenge accepted. I feel like I knocked it out of the park for that time. If given the chance to, I think I would participate in another fanzine. I actually joined a Discord server that's only fanzines. Like, only tracking fanzine submissions. I do not have the link for that in the description, but maybe next video I'll include it. I may revisit the shadows for that. Hold on. A little bit better. Like, yes, I like drawing my beefcakes, but I also want to treat them with respect, man. We'll revisit that. I'm gonna put the shadows on Daniel now. Okay. Ooh. Once we get the shadows on Daniel, we can start putting in the color flats for this thing. For people who are tuning in for the first time, or kind of skipped ahead accidentally on the replay, this live stream is for The Legend of Jamie Roberts, Volume 2 on Crowdfundr. It is on Crowdfundr right now. We're in the final stretch. We're in the final, like, 10 hours of this campaign. We've unlocked a lot of stretch goals, but it would be really cool if we unlocked even more. before funding closed. The latest stretch goal that we're reaching for is if we can get to 30 backers, then I can include a little zine in each book order. The zine being legendary and casual, depicting the cast of The Legend of Jamie Roberts in casual wear, like modern day casual wear. It includes Daniel in a t-shirt that says emotional support himbo, if that entices you. If you would like to see that tucked into your copy of Volume 2, head over to crowdfundr.com/TLOJR-Vol2. Link is also in the description, or you can scan the QR code at the top of the screen to find out more. Here we go. You know, I recently had submitted the legend to a webcomic collective, but the webcomic collective rejected it and then did not specify why they rejected it, instead telling me to go to a forum for feedback. I'm not doing that. For the sake of privacy, I'm not going to name what collective it was. But I will say, there is another webcomic collective that I'm thinking about submitting Jamie Roberts to, because I think it might be a better fit there. Not too worried about that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that works for now. I'm not going to add shading to the background elements yet, because that's a different thing. Actually, I'm already working on that. What am I doing? I was trying to open the wrong file. Wow. Bear with me. Hold on. Okay. There we go. That was the file that I wanted. Okay. The background shades are 20% multiply. Okay. We'll go ahead and just do some broad swatches. I remembered the shading for, like, all this was going to be on a separate layer. I just couldn't remember what the opacity was. Did that hit the spot? Yes, it did. Whew. Got that swatch there. We got this swatch here. We got this here. Yeah! And got this here. That was not what I was going for. Boom. Okay. Coolios. Now we can do color flats. Okay. So we're going to group our shading layers together in one folder. Under the inks, we're going to do color flats. And then we're going to turn those shade layers off and bring up the color flat refs. This is going to help color in the broad strokes. So, the grass, the trees, yeah, the leaves, Going to cover all of that. Thomas and Daniel do not have their colors in the reference that I'm using in the upper right corner here, but soon. We'll get to that. We'll get to that once we get these broad strokes done first. Done. Cool. And then we'll get that and the mountains there. That takes care of that. Cool. So the only color flats to worry about now are for Thomas, Daniel, and those bricks. The bricks, I have an idea of where I'm going to sample the colors for. Oh, well, thank you for tuning in as long as you did, Susu. I'm surprised that you were up this late. But hey, happy to see some people still hanging out in the chat here. Thank you, Haze Crazed, for the very nice compliment. It was very sweet of you. I'm really liking how this is turning out so far. Not gonna lie. With the shadows. Ooh, so dramatic. Look at this. Woohoo! And that's... We still need to color in Thomas and Daniel here, but it's... I love dramatic lighting. I love dramatic lighting. So for Thomas and Daniel here, I'm actually going to pull up... What do I want to pull up? I'm going to pull up a recent page, because it's going to be blocked out by the QR code anyway. Here we go. Oh, it's not going to have both of Daniel's eyes, or Thomas's eyes here, because Thomas has two different colored eyes. Here we go. And boop. Oh. Okay. And that's done. Cool. There's a couple of spots that I have to zoom in here and, like, touch up. It may not show in print. It might show in print. I don't want to take the risk. I'll just fill in the gaps wherever they might be. Cover my bases. Color the figures. Yes, I sing sometimes whenever I'm on a live stream. So you get to hear the sweet, sultry sounds of my voice while I color stuff. Okay. And now that that's done, we're gonna color the eyeballs. Boop. Well, that's not an effect I want. That fixed it. Gotta pull up another color reference for Thomas's other eye. Hold on. I will say this is one of the more annoying things about the character design that I did make a color reference sheet, and then I did not clearly label which eye was which, and I still need to, like, remaster the reference sheet for the colors for this comic to account for that. Okay. Back to Daniel's colors. There is something about that eye that looks wonky. Let me flip this, see what it is. Okay. I see what it is. I'm going to turn the color flat layer off for a second, and I'm going to lasso around this eye and move it down. It's a little too high up for my liking. There, that fixed it. Okay. By the way, if you wondered how I just fixed the line art like that, I do have a video on my YouTube channel. It's either under live or videos, but it's Clip Studio Paint tips and tricks. The thing that I just did was I turned on lock transparent pixels over here where the layer commands are. I just did that, and lo and behold, that means I can change the line color if I do that. It's really nice. Very handy. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. That eye is still wonky. Hold on. We'll fix the colors once we have the inks figured out. That will do. Okay. So with that, we'll adjust the color flats here. Done. Now this is really zoomed in on the cover art, so I'm going to try to not fret over details too much. Save our progress. It's very important to save our progress, kids. Oh, Director 240. Howdy, howdy. Happy to see you in the chat. Catching up in the comments. Bumble Jelly Bottom was like, my wonky eye. It fell out! It's like the three fates in Disney's Hercules where they're like bickering over who gets the eye. Oh, I almost forgot. Okay. I have a checklist on Trello that helps me track the steps that are done on any given comic project page. Helps me keep track of like how far along I am on a project. I was checking off a couple of steps for the card that has the details of this comic page. Pretty sure you can find the video where I show how I use Trello as a comic artist on my YouTube channel. Pretty sure you can find the tutorial there. Oh, there's a gap. Filling in the gap. Fill the gaps. And that's done. There we go. I need to color reference the quiver design may need to change. Yeah, I'm going to change some of the details of the quiver design for the back cover here, because Daniel did get a new quiver of arrows in Volume 2. That much is true. Actually, speaking of, because previously the feathers on his arrows were green, this new batch has yellow. Though, he may need to mix some in, but we'll see. The new quiver was thrown at him in Chapter 6. Yeah. Chapter 6 was wild. And Chapter 6 is in Volume 2. So, yeah, there's a lot of wild stuff that happens in Chapter 6, y'all. I mean, a lot of stuff happens in Volume 2, but yes. Also, yes, real glad to see that the campaign is doing as well as it is. Last I checked, we got 25 backers, and we're so close to 900. Now, it's been a hot minute since I looked at it, so I'm going to take a second to look at it real quick. Crowdfundr.com/TLOJR-vol2. Link also in the doobly-doo. And on the screen. And the QR code. We are over 900! Heck yes! Thank you! I'm really, like, that was my big goal for today, was to get us over 900. If we can get to 30 backers, that would be chef's kiss. I'm just really happy that we got over 900 raised. That makes me happy. Because that's just about half of what Volume 1 raised on Kickstarter. And I figured Volume 2 would be like, hey, it's Volume 2. It might be harder to pull in the same sort of numbers as you did for Volume 1. But I'm just really happy that we even got like half of what we did. That is great. Or at least close to half of the amount raised for Volume 1. Now, we still have 8 hours left. We still have 8 hours to go for this campaign. Yes, this goes into midnight. Technically, this campaign goes into the, like, wee morning hours of September 1st. Today is the last day to back the campaign to get rewards, though. And it was Andrew Balch who most recently contributed. Yes, shout out to Andrew. Mwah. Also, I'm just going to, while I'm here, I'm going to give shout outs to everybody who has backed this campaign so far. There are 29 of you, so bear with me while I give you shout outs. I'm going to scroll to the beginning. Okay, shout out to JessicaMcIntosh for being the first. Also, Jack Wallace of the Columbus Scribbler, thank you so much for backing this campaign. Rainer Canistine of Cannon Wright Productions, thank you so much. Zon Green, thank you for your contribution. Mariah Williams, thank you. To Anonymous. There are 2 backers who decided to go anonymous. Also, M, who goes by a couple of different pronouns, but thank you, M. Thank you so much for backing this campaign. Carlos, head of Youngstown Indie Creator Expo, thank you so much for backing this campaign. Another anonymous. Susanna Anderson, thank you. Sydney Kitt, thank you. Also, go support... Excuse me, sorry. I had dinner before streaming. Support Sydney's crowdfunding campaign for the Columbus Cartoon Coalition, or the C3, Anthology of 2023. Pretty sure I have a link for it down in the description. But you can find out more information at youtube.com/@Columbus Cartoon Coalition. They also have social media presences. All of that's on their YouTube channel. Back to the shout-outs. John Atkinson, thank you for backing this campaign. Tim Malone, thank you so much. Lynn, thank you. They contributed on my birthday. Thank you so much. One anonymous. Angelica, thank you so much, Angelica. Paige, thank you so much, Paige. Sean Workman, thank you, Sean Workman. Aaron Pata, I know that they make webcomics. I do not recall their webcomic titles off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure you can look up Aaron PTAH and you can find their webcomics that way. Jason Moon, thank you so much, Jason Moon. Stephen Hines, he just recently wrapped up a Kickstarter for Snails with Lasers. Check that out. Albert Kua, thank you so much, Albert. James H. Anderson, aka Hunter, co-host of the Fourth Leg podcast. Thank you so much for backing this campaign. Another anonymous, and Andrew Balch. Thank you so much for backing this campaign. Really appreciate it. The campaign is still running. We have 9 hours left as of 7:09 p.m. today, August 31st. We have 9 hours left to see if we can get to 1,000 or more. If we can get over 1,000, I will be over the moon. That would be amazing. So if you have contributed already, thank you so much. If you are broke or otherwise can't contribute, sharing the link helps more than you know. The QR code is in the corner. The link is on the screen. There's also the link in the doobly-doo. Sharing is caring, and it helps more than you know. In fact, a lot of this campaign has happened because of just overt sharing. So thank you so much for all of that. With that, I think because we've been going for a little over an hour, yeah, we've been going for like an hour and 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the stream up here. And also I need to refill my tea. I will say, taking a break from doing conventions after Small Press Expo. I'm not going to be doing any more conventions after Small Press Expo for the rest of 2023. To be there at table D8B. I'm splitting the table with somebody while I'm there. So if you are in the Washington, D.C. area, I hope that you can come to Small Press Expo. Find me there at table D8B. Looking forward to the show. Hopefully I can actually make it this year. I had to cancel at the last minute last year because I caught COVID. I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that that does not happen again this year. So, I'm going to be at Small Press Expo next week. Very excited about that. After that, I'm not doing any more in-person events. I'm not doing author appearances, conventions, or local festivals or anything of that sort. I'm just going to be taking a break from the convention circuit, and I'm just going to focus on like crowdfunding campaigns, getting feedback from my readers in the survey that's coming out next week, fulfilling on the crowdfunding campaigns that I've been running. Be Not a Purd is already fulfilled. We're going to do shout outs for the backers for that campaign in a different video. But I wanted to give shout outs to everybody who has backed The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 2 so far. So shout outs to all of you. All of that said, the campaign is still running until the wee hours of the morning of September 1st. Now, I believe if Crowdfundr is doing this correctly, there will be a little window of time after the campaign closes so that if you miss your window, you may still be able to back. There's kind of a courtesy period that Crowdfundr offers, which, you know, glad that they do that. Also, thank you, Bumble Jellybottom, for sharing the link with your friends. Sharing helps so much. Even if they're unable to back it and if only they can share it, that still helps. Even if they've never heard of the comic before and they're like, I want to see what this is about, that also helps. Because, you know, The Legend of Jamie Roberts is a webcomic. The print version that we're crowdfunding for has remastered pages, extra comics that were previously digital exclusive, but they will be going in print. It's also going to feature some behind the scenes sketches and all that good stuff. It's also going to have a special thank you page where I can give proper credit to everybody who inspired and helped make this comic possible. Not just the Crowdfundr backers and not just the club supporters either. Okay, with all of that done and out of the way, yeah, we're gonna... Actually, you know what? We're just about done coloring in Daniel. We'll stick around for a hot second just to make sure that Daniel gets colored in before we wrap this up. Because it's only like 1 or 2 more colors. It's not that hard. Cool. I almost forgot to draw this over here. Oh, there's the bow. I knew the bow was in the reference picture somewhere. Oop. Oh, that was... Sorry, that was Harold. Harold fell over. He's been falling over a lot. He needs a proper home. I need to put up the shelving. That's what I need to do. I need to put up the shelving on I've decided I'm going to put a shelf over on this wall because we have a kitten. His name is Mooney Vegeta Muser Peterson Crawford. And he likes to leap on things. This particular shelving unit that I want to put up on the wall is not built for his weight. So, yeah. Want to put up the shelving with care. So I really don't want him hurting himself. Okay. Actually, for the stone here. Oh. Actually, I'm going to test this by turning it grayscale. How does this look? Okay, that is not bad. And that is our back cover illustration for The Legend of Jamie Roberts, Volume 2. Look at this beauty. My goodness. Ah, stunning. I love the dramatic lighting. It's so good. So good. And it's going to mesh really well with the front cover art. Actually, let's do this just so you can see the full effect here. Boom. Oh, I'm trying to zoom out on this one. There we go. Yeah. Interesting. The shadows look like they're a different color. Let me check something here. Okay. Pop back over here. Okay. Shades look like they're the same color. That is kooky. It almost looks like two different covers or two different color swatches there for a minute. But they're done. And they look pretty awesome. I love how they turned out. And that's the front and back covers for The Legend of Jamie Roberts, Volume 2. I'll be doing some color adjustments off stream. But there we go. Shared the link. Oh, yeah, poor Harold. Oh, wait a second. What? Hold on. Okay. Whew. I thought something happened, but we're okay. But there we go. Yeah, I really like how this turned out, actually. But I'll be doing some, like, color adjustments here in a bit just to make sure that, you know, everything's all hunky-dory and that it's all going to mesh. So, that is where we will end it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Do all the YouTube stuff. You know how it works. Be sure to check out The Legend of Jamie Roberts Volume 2 at crowdfundr.com/TLOJR-VOL2 or the QR code in the corner or the link in the doobly-doo. There are still books available for you to pre-order. There's also limited edition pins and there's commissions available. You can get yourself drawn in Volume 3 of The Legend of Jamie Roberts if you want to. That's a reward option. Totally something you can do. Yeah, check out all of that at The Legend of Jamie Roberts on Crowdfundr. And if you would like to check out other crowdfunding campaigns, there's the Columbus Cartoon Coalition Anthology happening right now. Link for that will also be down below. Or at their YouTube channel at Columbus Cartoon Coalition. You can also check out my next campaign, Mr. Dino Pride Keychains and Stickers, by going to crowdfundr.com/Mr. Dino Pride. No punctuations or anything, just MR Dino Pride. Or the link is going to be in the description. Do all the YouTube stuff. And before I start rambling any further, thank you all so much for watching. You are awesome.